that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see.
Be seated. Welcome, everyone. Welcome as we gather to remember the life of Jerry Schischikowsky, beloved husband, father, grandfather, brother, and friend. Jerry will be forever cherished and remembered by his family, his wife, Dell, his children and grandchildren, Chad and Randy, Daylin, Bree, and Tayan, Dwayne, Dexter, and Gina, and Dion, and Caden, and Rowan, Dawn and Rocky, Danita and Dale, and Denise and Howie. He'll also be remembered by his brother Leonard Schischikowsky and his sister Elsie Radzik. Jerry has gone on to join his father Martin, his mother Elizabeth, his brothers and sisters Monica and Roy, Adeline, Olga, and Louis. He'll also be reunited with his son, Dudley, and his granddaughter, Kenzie. Jerry, you will be missed forever by many family and friends who will cherish their memories until we meet again. My name's Eunice Friesen, and I'm honored to be here today to help you say farewell to Jerry. In a moment, Miles and Jocelyn will be coming up to play for us. But let's just gather our hearts and our minds together with that familiar Psalm of David, the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Well, I never thought this day would come, but here it is. This one's for you, Jerry. Oh, mine would take the pick out of there, eh? You know a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows. And the dream is just a vessel that must follow where it goes. Trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shores. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the water slip away. What we put off till tomorrow has now become today. So don't you sit upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied, and choose to chance the rapids and to dare to dance the tide. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I will never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. There's bound to be rough waters, then I know I'll have some falls. But with the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through it all. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Like a bird upon the wind, these waters are my sky. I will never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Till the river runs dry.
I'm always amazed. Sometimes I think I have enough trouble just speaking at a service, let alone singing and playing. And I understand Jerry himself requested that song a couple of years ago. And they're making good on it today. So in a moment, Maria will be coming to share the eulogy with us. But I wanted to give you a little heads up. I understand there's a couple of people who might like to say something. So there will be an open mic for tributes after the eulogy. So you can start thinking a bit now if you feel like there's a story or a memory or a thought that you'd like to share with the Schischikowsky family. I know they'd appreciate to hear it. So first, though, let's hear from Maria.
Hello, I'm Maria Bassnett. I grew up knowing Jerry since I was a baby. And I just wanted to write this because I loved him. Jerry was a baby of a very large family, a very proud family. He was born on February 19th, 1942. Family was the most important thing to Jerry. He was a very loving and passionate person, making sure to help anyone who is in need. Working hard and living on the homestead since childhood, Jerry knew his hands were the most treasured tools, from making equipment run to providing food for his family. He loved to make music whenever loved ones were around, so they can enjoy each other's company. No matter where you were or who you were, Jerry would always welcome you in and give you the shirt off his back. In 1974, Jerry met Dell McKee and her wonderful children, and they were married in 1980. A year later, Jerry and Dell had a boy, Chad. He was the baby of the family as well. Jerry taught Chad to work hard on the farm and have the same ethics and pride in his work wherever he may end up. Therefore, when Chad found himself working on the rigs as a young man, his dad would often have good talks with him about his earlier years working on their drilling rigs. He said he didn't want to work the derrick, as he didn't like heights. Instead, he was driving a water truck to the rigs. It's much safer on the ground, we suppose. Jerry eventually found his calling running cutting line for CDC and Destiny for many years. Tyler Dye tells a story that on coffee break, Uncle Jerry would be underneath Tyler's cat greasing it instead of having coffee. That sounds about right. And Jerry would always say, "Teach 'em young." He was the best cleanup cat. He would tell the saw hands, "Just hang up your power saws on the cat. We're not going to need them today." Jerry loved horses, and he raced truck wagons with Benny Mitchell. For many years, he would fix saddles and work with leather. He loved being outside. Whether it was on horseback or just hanging out with all of us kids. When we were younger, Jerry took Chad to the Worsley ski hill and rented the longest skis. He had the idea that he wanted to stay on top of the snow. But of course, the snow's groomed, so he's not falling through. Well, Jerry didn't make it further than the upper parking lot at the Worsley ski hill. So we'd always ski down halfway and meet him, say hi. There was always things to do at the farm. Jerry would work hard, and he'd help out with whatever he could, even if it meant lifting a back end of a pickup for Dell and Shirley to change a tire because they didn't have a jack. Jerry'd also make sure that we had fun, whether it be dragging car hoods behind the vehicles or GTs and dragging us around the yard for hours. He'd also take us out in the fields, teaching us how to drive pickups, standards. And he'd always say, don't drive over the swaths. So that was how we knew where we were going. When Jerry was indoors, though, he would like to watch a good game of curling or hockey. And if that wasn't on, you could always count on a good Western movie. He really liked his Westerns. Jerry had a very special relationship with his brother Leonard. When they were always on an adventure together. They were wrenching on many things together, or hung out with friends and played music together. They were best friends. Jerry liked to play accordion. He liked to play at dances and amongst friends. And as much as possible, he really enjoyed all different instruments. Jerry was very good at making nicknames. If you got a nickname from Jerry, you were good in his books. I never got one. He enjoyed visiting with people in the kitchen, at his kitchen table, having coffee and playing card games. He was one of the best Kaiser players. When friends would come over and play cards, poker, he had the best table. When he won, he could pull his table apart to collect his winnings. It's pretty cool. If you didn't know how to play cards, well, he would always have a colorful story for you. He'd always make sure that you were entertained no matter what. He enjoyed his grandchildren. He taught them how to play hearts and Kaiser, spending hours and hours at the table teaching them. He was very good at remembering every card, and he was always looking for a good player. I bet you it was you, Tan. Jerry always enjoyed when company would come over. Chad's friends were a part of the family, and they were always welcomed on the ranch, where the coffee was always hot. We're gonna miss you, Jerry.
Thank you, Maria. So, if there is anyone who would like to come and share a quick story, a memory, or some words for the family, I know that they would appreciate it. I know it's a little bit difficult being the first up, but I understand there was someone willing to do that. Come on. And feel free just to come up.
Good afternoon. I'm Dawn, as all of you probably know. First of all, I'd like to say I'm grateful for being blessed with not just having one dad, but two dads in my life. I will tell you a little bit about growing up with Jerry, my stepdad. Mostly, Jerry was a pretty easygoing guy, never got too excited about anything, and he had a lot of patience. No matter how many times we stalled the old red truck in the pasture, he would always get it going for us. Right, Deb? Or many times I got the tractor stuck in the field or wrecked piece of equipment, he would never get mad. He would say, "Come, come, I'll show you how to fix it." I spent a lot of time with Jerry on the farm, picking rocks, running tractor, baling, fencing. I never thought of it as work because Jerry always made it an adventure, not a job. Jerry loved playing cards, Kaiser, crib, hearts. But me and Dudley thought Jerry was the world's greatest poker player. Mom would leave to go somewhere and he'd watch out the window and he'd say, "She's gone. Get the cards and your money. It's poker night." We thought he taught us every poker game there was, and it didn't matter what you were dealt, what hand you were dealt. It was your poker face that won the game. As soon as we heard Mom coming up the driveway, he'd say, come on, clean up these cards and the money. Let's go sit on the couch. She'll never know." We went on a lot of trail rides and poker rallies with Jerry, or we would just saddle up and go for an afternoon ride to check fences and look for some old tamaracks that we could use on the farm. I always thought Jerry was the real horse whisperer. He would take any wild horse, and in no time he would be riding it around. I would always go out and watch him in the corrals. He would say, "Now you try it." I wasn't really that brave around crazy horses. He would laugh and say, "You're never going to be a cowgirl." Well, one day, I remember we just had got Comanche, and Jerry saddled Comanche up, and he got in the truck, and he said, "Come on, get in." So we went to the end of the road to the highway, and Jerry got out, and he said, "Come on, come." And he said, "Get on." And I said, "Oh, what are we doing?" He said, "Well, I want to see how fast he'll go." So Jerry said, "Well, when he gets home, he'll stop at the gate. Don't worry about that. He'll stop at the gate." So I get out, get on the horse, and Jerry slaps it on the ass. And he goes, "Yeah!" Well, yeah, it was. The horse took off, and next thing I know, Jerry's speeding up beside me, and he has his window open. "Hold on! Hold on!" I thought at that moment I wasn't going to make it. So the end of the road, the horse goes up to the driveway, stops dead right at the gate. Jerry gets out of the truck and he says, "Oh, I didn't think he'd go that fast." I said, "Well, Jerry, I peed my pants." He starts laughing and he said, "Well, you might have peed your pants, but you held on. Now you're a real cowgirl." As the saying goes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Yesterday, I was out helping Chad fix the fence. Yeah, that's a true story. It felt like I went back in time helping Jerry. Never felt like we were working, it just felt like another adventure. Thanks, Chad, for that day yesterday. Watching him work with horses and having his girls by his side teaching them made me realize how much Chad is like his dad. Chad, he made him proud. I learned a lot from Jerry. He was always teaching me something or giving me advice. The best lesson and advice that will always stick with me is, don't tell Mom. Ride high and fast up there, Jerry, and please hold on. Rest in peace, Jerry. We will always have you in our hearts. Gonna miss you.
Anyone else who'd like to say a few words?
I'm Theresa Godberson, and I'd like to share a couple stories that have come to my mind. And one of those is the horses in Jerry's life. And I still remember one called Mule. Do you guys remember Mule? Mule was one of the ugliest horses I ever did see. Jerry had that horse so well trained. He was an amazing horse. Anybody could ride that horse. And on top of it all, he turned out not to be a mule because one year in the spring, out comes a baby. And if any of you know anything about horses, a donkey is a cross between a mule and a horse. And that makes them not able to conceive, from what I've been told. But we all were so surprised when all of a sudden the mule had a baby in the spring. One other story I have to share is about a trail ride. My dad, Neil Godberson, hosted many trail rides over the years, and Jerry was always his right man in command. He would be the hunter, the one that watched out for all of us to make sure no animals were coming close, such as bears and stuff, while we were sleeping. Often staying up late at night, which was around the campfire, the good times and the good stories. One of the stories has to do with him having coffee. He was a coffee lover, especially campfire coffee. And I have to do a confession, which will come at the end of this story. So they're sitting up around the fire, and most of us people were sleeping in our sleeping bags around, and I'm listening to the stories and the things while I'm laying in my sleeping bag. And then all of a sudden they're like mad about something. They're trying to pour the coffee. There's coffee in here, but nothing will come out. Anyhow, the confession is my socks I had swung over top because they were soaking wet. One fell in the coffee make pot. So they had really good coffee that night. Sock coffee. It was quite the story, and I am laying in my sleeping bag trying not to giggle because they put a stick in, pull out a sock, and I'm like, oh, who put their socks over there? It was me. Not a word was said. Next day, I pulled a fresh pair of socks out and pretended like it never happened. And that's my stories. I rest in peace, Jerry, and you lived a great life. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you, Dawn and Theresa, for those good laughs and great memories. We'll enjoy a few more with the slideshow now.
Daddy, I'm afraid. Won't you stay a little while? Keep me safe there's monsters right outside. Daddy, please don't go. I don't wanna be alone, 'cause the second that you're gone, they're gonna know. Before he went to bed, he grabbed my hand and said, just 'cause I'm leaving, it don't mean it. I won't be right by your side when you need me and you can't see me in the middle of the night. Just close your eyes and say a prayer. It's okay, I know you're scared when I'm not here, but I'll always be right there. Even though I'm leaving, I ain't going nowhere. Dad will be late, and Uncle Sam don't like to wait. He's got a big old plane that's gonna take me far away. I know I act tough, but there's a churning in my gut, 'cause I just can't call you up when things get rough. Before I left, he hugged my neck and said, just 'cause you're leaving, it don't mean it. I won't be right by your side when you need me. You can't see me in the middle of the night. Just close your eyes and say a prayer. It's okay, I know you're scared, I might be here, but I'll always be right there. Even though you're leaving, I ain't going nowhere. Daddy, I'm afraid, won't you stay a little while? I never thought I'd see the day I had to say goodbye. Daddy, please don't go. I can't do this on my own. There's no way that I can walk this road alone. Daddy grabbed my hand and said, just 'cause I'm leaving, it don't mean it. I won't be right by your side when you need me and you can't see me in the middle of the night. Just close your eyes and say a prayer. It's okay, boy, I ain't scared. I won't be here, but I'll always be right there. Even though I'm leaving, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere.
Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. Sometimes it feels like this world's gone crazy. Grandpa, take me back to yesterday, when the line between right and wrong didn't seem so hazy. Did lovers really fall in love today? Stand beside each other, come what may. Is promise really something people can't, not just something they would say? Families really bow their heads to pray. Daddies really never go away. Oh, oh, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. don't know. And Grandpa, let's wander back into the past, then paint me the picture of long ago. Lovers really fall in love to stay, stand beside each other, come what may. Promise really something people kept, not just something they would say and then forget. Families really bow their heads to pray, daddies really never go away. Oh, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. Oh, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days.
It's always a treat to come together and hear stories and see some great old pictures and remember someone. Even though it's in the midst of sadness of waking up in days to come in a world without Jerry. But today we will be grateful for who Jerry was and what he meant to each of you. As I was hearing the stories today, I was taking some notes and on some thoughts that I put together over the last couple of days, and I just got to add some things to them today that really give a picture of who Jerry was, and that I'd like to outline in a couple of his qualities of character today. One of the first things I noticed about Jerry, and I'm sure you all experienced it, was that he is a man who lived life with enthusiasm. When we live with enthusiasm, we're excited about life and open to wonders that each day holds. We do things wholeheartedly, with zeal, with eagerness, holding nothing back. And we allow the excitement of the moment to fill us. We're cheerful and optimistic about what is to come. Enthusiasm helps us imagine what is possible. We follow our dreams with true joy, and we enjoy good humor. We live in the moment, and we appreciate what we have, finding joy in simple pleasures, like friends, horses, and playing cards. Jerry also showed each of you, I'm sure, and many, many others who aren't with us today, his friendliness. Friendliness is reaching out to others with warmth and caring. Friendship is essential to our souls. We value ourselves enough to know that we deserve true companionship, and we find it and we hold on to those true, dear friends. We attract others by what we are willing to contribute. And Jerry attracted many, many friends. It's great to see the need to pull out a few extra chairs today. The presence of a friend can soothe us, unleash our laughter, amplify our joy, and diminish our sorrow. Friends are compassionate witnesses to another's stories throughout their lives. We share our time and our attention and our love with our friends, and above all, we share ourselves. And we look upon strangers as friends that we haven't met yet. Friendliness is the best cure for loneliness. I also couldn't help but notice stories about Jerry's helpfulness. Helpfulness is doing things for others, things that make a difference to them, no matter how small or big, as in lifting the back of a pickup because there's no jack around. It's taking the time to be thoughtful, reflecting on what people truly need, and assisting them. We help others by doing the things that they can't do by themselves or for themselves. It's often easier to give help than to receive it. And it takes courage to ask for help when we need it. But it seems to me that Jerry had a group around him who would give help when he needed it, and who knew that Jerry was there for them as well. When we work selflessly to benefit the lives of others, it ends up blessing our own lives as well. I also noticed Jerry's hospitality. Hospitality is caring for others with respect and acceptance and making them feel welcome and at home. We empower our guests when we greet them with openness and trust, and we share our possessions and our energy selflessly in the interest of bringing joy to others. Hospitality is a true expression of trust, and it resonates gratitude back to its giver. With hospitality, we lay the foundation for connection, and we convert strangers into friends. The coffee was always on at Jerry and Dell's, and Jerry was ready to tell many stories over cards, and I understand also to share many laughs. Humor. Humor allows us to bring joyfulness and laughter into people's lives. We craft our words and our actions skillfully to create a vision or an impression that helps people see things differently, or perhaps surprises them with a quick remark that makes everyone laugh. Laughter is the common language of all because it uplifts the spirit and makes light of heavy burdens. Humor breaks down walls and fosters connection amongst friends, neighbors, and family. Laughter fills our hearts with joy. These are just a few of the qualities, the characters of virtue that Jerry displayed: enthusiasm, hospitality, helpfulness, friendliness, and humor. That's not to mention his ingenuity and creativity on the farm, his gentleness, I'm sure, with his horses. But these qualities of character live on in each of you. Some of you inherited them, and others learned from Jerry's example. I'd like to leave you with the challenge today, encouraging you to notice when you display these qualities. As you go about your own lives, do so in Jerry's memory. And when you notice someone doing something like Jerry would, take a moment to thank them for reminding you of your dad, your grandpa, your friend. As we depart today, the family would like to invite you to come out to the graveside for interment. That's at the Gage Holy Trinity, Old Greek Orthodox Cemetery. Whether or not you can make it out there, they would love to see you at the Hines Creek Senior Drop-In Center at 4 for some food and fellowship, perhaps a few tears, and hopefully many more laughs to be shared. Let's close today with that familiar prayer. You can join me if you like. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
He looked down into her brown eyes and said, "Say a prayer for me." She threw her arms around him, whispered, "God will keep us free." They could hear the riders coming. He said, "This is my last fight. If they take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the bells stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
She reached down and picked the gun up that lay smoking in his hand. She said, Father, please forgive me. I can't make it without my man. And she knew the gun was empty, and she knew she couldn't win. But her final prayer was answered when the rifles fired again. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. Young Spanish angel took another angel home.
There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. All right, y'all, help me now.
There were 7 Spanish angels
at the altar